What's up? How you doing? Here we are. Beautiful night tonight. Beautiful night. Perfect temperature. Not even a slight breeze. I don't see it. I got the blue stuff for my combs. Go to the barbershop. They always have this solution in here. It kills everything. That's because they use the same combs on multiple people. Got a guy coming in with lice or streptococcus on his head. Well, you need something like this. You put them in there and it sanitizes it, kills everything. Then they float down to the bottom. But look at that. I love the barbershop. One of my favorite things, you know. I love especially the old barbershops. But I remember going in there, every barber had this. So put it aside here. It's glass, it could break. Right now an earthquake could hit, knock it right over. Have some yeast here, brand new. Alright. Yeast. My daughter, my youngest one, she likes to do a little baking, a lot of baking. And sometimes you need yeast. And then of course everything piles up like a pyramid in the sink. And I have to get in there and wash it down. Some of that stuff's too big for the dishwasher. So tonight we're gonna do some sausages, Italian sausages. I like the spicy ones, but my people inside, they like the sweet variety. Although they do eat spicy. My older daughter, my big daughter there, she will eat hot sauce. But tonight we're having sweet Italian sausages, and I'm gonna fry some onions up, saute, and then I have peppers here, Del peppers, green and red, like the Italian flag. And we have fresh water. Have a new filter inside. Delicious. Anyway, we begin. This is the kind of stuff you save and then you boil it or something, and then apply it to your hair, and you get a nice nice color. I don't know, reddish. But I'm not into that, so unnecessary. If you end up dyeing your hair, you open up a whole new can of worms. Then every, I don't know how long it lasts, but every couple of weeks or so you have to dye it again, because then, you know, the roots will show. And then there are some men, I'm not going to name names, but you see them around. They dye their hair the wrong way and it gets like an orange look to the hair, orangey. And then you look like a clown a little bit. Oh, the smell of onions, I love it. Onions make everything better. All right. Onions and garlic. But then you got to stay away from vampires. So nothing fancy, you know. You fry them up. Sometimes you cut an onion in half and you'll see an image, like I don't know, Rocky Balboa. Right here I see a tooth on the bottom. See that? You don't want to cut them too thin because they burn. This is the correct thickness according to me. And I don't go too fast because my knife, this knife here is sharp, and I don't want to misestimate. I've mentioned it before, I'm going to mention it again, but at least on my block, maybe in America it's not, you know, I'm not the champ, but on my block I would say I'm the champ. I have eaten 2.5 bulbs in one probably 20-minute sitting. I sat down, I you know, removed all the peels from the garlic, 2.5 big bulbs. And I crushed them down, not crushed them, but I chopped them up into fine pieces. And then I took bread, toast, and I put a little bit of olive oil in the garlic, and then I ate the whole thing. So that's very unusual. So yeah, and then it took over 24 hours before the garlic odor left. You know, but you know, I've said it before, but it's worth mentioning. They always say garlic is antimicrobial. They say it's a good antibiotic, antiviral. Well, I don't know how good it is, because one time, a couple of times I tried, but one time I was coming down with a cold many years ago, decades ago, coming down with a cold. And I said, well, this is the very beginning. I could sense it, you know, could sense the virus inside. And I said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna eat a ton of garlic, and by tomorrow, all that garlic in one shot's gonna kill the virus. So I did, I think, a couple of bulbs. It was not my record, but I did 2 bulbs, and I ate it, and then it landed in my stomach, and I don't know, it felt like it was unwanted. Like I could feel my body saying, I gotta get rid of this. But I fought the urge of getting rid of it, but I felt intense heat. Garlic is hot when you eat it all at once. So, woke up the next day, I was sicker. I felt the virus had beaten the garlic, the allicin. And then another time, I said, okay, maybe I'll give garlic another shot. So I was coming out with a cold, and you know, not a fan of that. Not, you know, that feeling, I don't like it. So I said I'm going to do the same thing again, only this time I'm going to buy garlic tablets also, like garlic. And I'm going to take the whole thing of garlic. So I ate the garlic, and then I waited like a little bit to settle down, because I could feel it wanting to, you know, wanted to get out of me, or I wanted to push it out. Garlic was fine inside, but my body did not want it inside. But anyway, that lasted for like 10 minutes, and then I was okay. And then I took the whole thing of garlic, the whole thing, And I said, that should be enough to kill the virus. And then I woke up the next day and it made zero difference. Zero. Like nothing. So, I don't know. It may speed it up, and even that, very doubtful. The only thing that I believe speeds up the common cold to leave your system, or at least be defeated. It doesn't really leave, you kind of defeat it. It gives up and walks out. No, you defeat it with your white blood cells, your T cells. So the only thing that worked for me is the zinc lozenges. And so I did notice that there was a shortening of the duration. You know, I had a very short cold, and I did that multiple times just to see if it was not just a placebo. Well, it could have been the placebo, since I knew it wasn't a double-blind study, right? Double-blind test. So I knew I was taking the actual thing, but I knew I was taking garlic too, and it didn't help. All right, so that is there. Now I'm going to chop these up. Bell peppers. If it were up to me, I would sneak a habanero in here, but they will notice, and then they won't eat it. One time I made dinner for some people, and I overdid it on the powdered hot pepper. Overdid it. So you're supposed to put in that meal, I think, a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, hot pepper. Half a teaspoon. Maybe you can put a full teaspoon. But what I did is I put 3 heaping tablespoons, like, you know, had like a mountain on it, and I dumped it in, and I made it like that. And so then I finished the meal, and people say, hey, you have any extra, you know, a little bit hungry? And I said, sure. I've eaten my portion, so whatever was left, they could have, you know, eaten the rest. And so, you know, 3 people put on their plate, and they sat down. Mama's boy going home with the scooter, get a little kiss on the cheek. Anyway, they sat down, they were eating it, and I kind of glanced over, and they looked like they were crying. Tears were rolling down, and they looked at me and they said, what'd you put in here? And I told them, and they go, that's too much. I said, well, I made it for me, and I had extra, so. But it caught them by surprise. Some of them had the hiccups. A couple. But you know what it does? It acts like nitroglycerin. It opens up your arteries. It's one of the few things that found in nature that can save you when you're having a heart attack, if you can get it into your system fast enough, because it'll dilate your arteries a bit, open them up a little bit. Best thing to do is go to a hospital. Don't have a heart attack and then tell your wife or whatever, go get me some cayenne pepper, and then sit at home. You will not wake up, chances are. So I was listening to these physicists, theoretical ones. A lot of guesswork in theoretical physics. And they were saying that, you know, the paradox is, why is there no sign of intelligent life or any life beyond us in the universe. You know, they say that our galaxy is, you know, I think, what is it, 10 billion years old? And so during that time, there should be evidence of, you know, artificial structures in space in our galaxy. And they don't see any of that. So, you know, they can't figure out why. And, you know, I've never come in contact with one of these. Like, I need to go up to Getty. I mean, Getty, not Getty. Griffith. That's artwork. So I need to go up there and talk to one of those scientists and tell them, what are you talking about? You really expect to see an artificial structure in our galaxy thousands of light years from here? You know, I mean, what are you using to look? First of all, anytime they look at anything, the star overpowers everything, so you're not going to see a structure. But I'm going to make sausages, and I'm going to fry up. What do you need?
I have to grab my backpack.
Okay. So anyway, you know, it's kind of ridiculous to think you're going to see a structure from here. And if they built it, let's say they're looking in the galaxy 20,000 light years from here. And let's say there is a structure, but the structure was put up 10,000 years ago. Well, you're not going to see it, even if you have a very powerful telescope, because the light bouncing off of that structure has not reached us yet. It'll take another 10,000 years traveling at the speed of light. So, and, you know, they may say, well, we're expecting life form to have arisen, intelligent life form, you know, 2 million years ago, which is plenty of time for them to build things and plenty of time for us to see them, because that would be much bigger than the 100,000 light years it would take from edge to edge. And some people say our galaxy is even bigger than that. It may be up to 250,000 light years according to the latest numbers. But I say that you will never be able to see something like that from this far away. How big would it have to be? It would have to be monstrous. It would have to be the size of, like, you know, what's that, Beetlejuice, something big like that. And then you look at it, you go, yeah, that's something that an alien life form, something intelligent, built that. That's artificial. But if they build things that are small, you know, what are you looking for? So I find that ridiculous. I think there's life form out there, intelligent life form. And I think the distances are so vast that whatever they've sent out as a signal has yet to reach us, or it's too weak for us to detect with our technology, or it's on a spectrum that we don't even know about, that we don't even use. Like, our technology won't even be able to pick that up because they don't use the same kind of radio waves that we use. Maybe they're way over on the edge, and so we're not picking them up. But there's something. We're not the only ones. I mean, how ridiculous is that to think that in a place this large, with some say 2 trillion galaxies, and each galaxy has, you know, an average of 100 billion stars. This one has more. And each star has an average of at least one planet going around it. And we're the only ones? No. That does not seem possible to me. You know, such a big universe and we're the only ones. Yeah, I think more likely the answer is that the distances are just too great for the signals to reach here. I mean, we're having a hard time picking up a signal now from Voyager 1 and 2, and they're in the backyard. They're not that far. I mean, they've been traveling for about 38,000 miles since 1977. 38,000 miles per hour, every hour since 1977. And they're basically in our backyard. I think they're almost a light day away. So they're the distance of whatever light travels in one day. That's nothing. So can you imagine? And we're having a hard time with that. So every so often we have to build a bigger and bigger receiver. You know, otherwise, you know, you can't pick up the signal. Anyway, I had to get up for a second there, check something out. I'm back. Yeah, so anyway, we're building bigger and bigger receivers, and that's just one light day away, if that. Can you imagine a signal coming from, 20,000 light years from here, or even 1,000 light years, or even a light year, even that, a signal. So there's many reasons why we don't get anything. I know in the 60s when all this stuff was going up, they were expecting, once they pointed the antennas out into space, that they would be hearing chit-chat from all over the place. Like it was loaded with life from, all parts of the universe just coming towards us, at least if it's, several million years old. Like even Andromeda. Andromeda is like what, 2.5 million light years? 2.5, somewhere around there. Yeah. So we're looking at Andromeda right now with Webb, and even with the naked eye you could see it if you go to the desert. But the light takes about 2 million years from Andromeda, which is our neighbor. That's our neighbor. So it takes 2 million years, 2.5 million years to get here. So we're looking at it back in time, how it used to look. And we have all kind of, SETI has got the, antennas pointing that way, the dishes, and they hear crickets. Nothing. And tell SETI, you know what, you're a little too far. And maybe you need a dish the size of the Earth to pick a signal from that far away. And even that to me seems kind of small when you're talking 2 million light years. So that's the problem. I think the distances are so vast that you have a hard time picking up a signal. Because there's got to be something out there. Got to be something. It would be very lonely if we're the only ones, and we're the most advanced because we're the only ones. I'm not that interested in finding intelligent life that is behind us, like, it's still living like the way we lived 5,000-6,000 years ago. I want to find something that is a million years ahead of us. And you imagine the technology, the discoveries. And then the other thing is that if you do find something like that, do you really want it to tell you what's out there and not learn for yourself? Then you become a subspecies of this incredible civilization that hands you all the answers. So that's the other problem. But it would be interesting. Cut these up in ribbons and then throw them in the pan with a little bit of oil, salt, pepper. Right. It's getting dark. You know, it looks like a lot, but then it shrivels down to nothing. Once you evaporate the moisture, they shrink. All right. Alright, I'm gonna get my pan. Gonna get the pan and start cooking here. Alright, I'm back. I'm gonna put the peppers to cook. And I have the grill going over there, and I get the sausages here. And these onions, they smell awesome. Awesome. When I make onions, peppers, and sausages, it reminds me of one day out of my life. I was about 12, sixth grader. So sixth grade, I would go downtown, get on the subway, which I loved. I'm a train guy. Bus guy too, but mostly train. Well, that particular day, I remember it was cold out, chilly. Not cold, but you know, a little bit chilly. And my plan was go downtown, go to the arcade, and then I wanted to buy a sausage and a bun with onions and peppers. So I played a few games at the arcade, and then I was heading towards the place that had the sausages. It was an outdoor place. And as I'm walking there, a thought popped into my mind. My uncle, he lived downtown with my aunt and his son. And he lived downtown in that area. And it was a Saturday. So as I'm thinking that, there was a plywood, they were building a building, all right, building a building, and it was, you know, all around the circumference of the building there was plywood, so you couldn't see across to the other side who was coming. And as I'm walking, I take the turn, and all of a sudden, boom, my uncle and my cousin. And at first, I was gonna play it dumb. I was gonna pretend I didn't notice and kept walking. But I had to stop and turn around because they made eye contact with me. And had they not made eye contact, I would have kept going. But at that point, it was just too obvious. So I stopped, I turned around, and my uncle said to me, "Oh," he goes, "you're traveling kind of far these days." And I said, "A little bit." And he said, "Why don't you join us?" And I said, "Yeah." Seemed like a very good idea, and it was. So I ended up going shopping down at the farmer's market. I spent the entire day with them. But I was craving that sausage. Nice spicy Italian sausage with onions and peppers. So anyway, after that, I helped them bring the stuff back to their house. And then I split. I took off. And I went and got that sausage. And that's what I think about every time I make sausages. And my uncle never told my father that he saw me that far away from my home. Not far, but you know, a few miles. Especially being a 12-year-old, but I used to go down there all the time. Back then, nobody knew. They still don't know. Because it never came up. But I had lots of fun going downtown, riding on the subway system. There's probably people that used to see me, you know, same people that would be on the train or something on the subway, and they would be like, "Oh, there's that kid again." But I grew up on the train tracks. First, second, and third grade, that's all I did. I had a couple of friends that we enjoyed doing the same thing. And after school, we would hang around at the railroad tracks, big freight trains and, you know, whatever. But, you know, a little bit dangerous because we would get on the tracks and the train would be way down and we'd run as the train was coming around the corner. And the conductor would be pulling that heavy-duty horn, like the Love Boat horn. And we'd run and then jump off the tracks. Dangerous. But back then, we thought it was fun. We thought it was fun. So I spent my time, you know, playing like you can't believe. When I was a kid, I had a really good childhood. I played enough with 5 kids. And I'm not kidding. stickball, kickball, squash, Bolivio. Not only that, I was fast. In my youth, I was fast. Nobody could get me. It's getting there. Got to keep moving it around, otherwise it's gonna burn. But even the smell brings me back to that day. You know, just picture this smell of the onions and a little bit of a crisp atmosphere. You know, not freezing, but you know, probably like in the low 50s, maybe even high 40s. I gotta check on the sausages. Alright, onions are done, sausages are done. Time to eat. Okay. All right, we're done. Sausages, the peppers, onions, and we have salad inside. Big salad. So that's it for now. We're gonna go in and eat, watch a little bit of television. Hopefully there's something good. I love that show 911, both Texas and LA or California. Anyway, that's it for now. Ciao.